Gentlemen, I have a question. Do you ever just look at a picture of a guy and think, wow, he's handsome, no homo. But then all of a sudden, you take a look in his eyes and a dark urge starts overcoming you. An evil thought fills your head. I want to kiss this man in front of me. That right there, gentlemen, is what these Roblox games feel like. They seem nice and innocent on the front cover, but play them for some time and they turn dark. There's multiple examples of Roblox games that can fit this description, but one in particular that I want to mention right away is the innocent game that has a really elaborate Easter egg or level that turns the game into a complete 180. One second you're at a classic Roblox Disney World game from 2012, next second there's blood everywhere, and you're in a secret government experiment reminiscent of that Abandoned by Disney creepypasta. As always, I'm Breadian and I talk about niche Roblox games, aka underrated games that other YouTubers won't show you since it'll hurt their view count. But I always scrounge the back rooms of Roblox to find the most crackpot shit. So do me a favor and please subscribe, like the video, and go visit my channel because I've literally been doing this stuff for 4 years now and I'm still not at 100k. I'll live either way, don't worry. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter. I've been trying to post more on there lately. Perhaps I'll face reveal this year. Randomly Generated Droids is a game created in 2020 and has always sat in the comfortable niche of Roblox games that have about 400 concurrent players and a dedicated community. This game hasn't really gone far in the algorithm due to its nature. It lacks microtransactions, easy gameplay, and flashy sound effects. Roblox's algorithm nor its players tend to like games that lack those features. But it does have one thing, RNG, which apparently is enough for this cunt to say it's a Souls RNG but better or something. Yeah, I understand, the grind is hard when you don't cover anime games. Get your bag. I know money must be tight when they aren't making Animorphs books anymore. Randomly Generated Droid scratches my brain in a particular way. It utilizes the classic Roblox sword fighting mechanics, and the game has a lot of callbacks to old Roblox. And I'm not talking about that low effort shit, where they just spam the stud texture everywhere to emulate 2009 Roblox. No, the dev of this game makes reference to 2013 Roblox, an example being the spike trap. I know it's only a 3-year difference, but when these game devs have constantly just been spamming the stud texture out with no understanding of what classic Roblox really is, baby steps like this are comparable to inventing a new form of energy. With that being said, the game is a roguelike, where you go through randomly generated rooms fighting randomly generated droids. The novelty of this game comes through, you sensed it, the RNG. And it's not like Doors RNG where a room looks different or a painting is moved. There's a ton of items, abilities, etc. that completely change how you play, and some really cool hidden secrets. With that being said, the game doesn't tend to attract many players, as it doesn't cater to what Roblox players are looking for right now. And a lot of gameplay, especially at higher levels, basically turns into what I call Silent Hill 2 Pyramid Head boss fight. In fact, there's a class that specifically caters to players like this. But Breadian, where's my horror? I clicked on this video and I wanted to see children's media take a sudden tonal shift into horror. How can I watch this shit? Between each world, you'll encounter a shop to buy items and weapons, maintained by a friendly droid as the shopkeeper. You can kill them for additional points, but the game punishes you for doing this by reducing your HP to 10%, as well as causing the cheerful background music to immediately slow down. I suppose the dev was a big fan of Undertale, but if you continue on your dark path and kill three parentheses, friendly merchants, and the game sends you to the darkest of places. The darkness is a secret world where droids do not spawn. Instead, the hostile NPCs are referred to as enemies, and they're all black silhouettes. While normally droids are named something like Sturdy Hunter Droid or Flickering Weak Droid, the enemies here are simply named something edgy like the Shadow, the Fallen, or the Droning. What is this, Dead by Daylight? These enemies give no circuit points for killing them since they aren't droids, and they act crazy. They teleport around, multiply, one of them is unkillable and follows you forever like Mr. X. Most players die here, by the way, especially in a lobby with other people. Things can get chaotic. Eventually you make your way to the boss, the Dark One, a rather tough boss, his most fearsome tactic being overwhelming his opponents by spamming his minions everywhere. Trying to beat this boss multiplayer can be difficult because you can't just hug a corner and have someone spin him around and around, because one of his attacks literally spawns enemies in the corner. Fun fact, the Dark One used to be responsible for crashing numerous players' games because he would overload the game with NPCs before a force regulation was thrust upon him. Anyways, a skilled solo player can easily beat this guy. A funny way to cheese this fight is dropping a 50-kilo spike pit onto his balls. Twice! In the past, you used to be able to use a flashlight to instantly kill him, but the dev removed that feature a while ago. I found out the hard way. After you kill the Dark One, the game drops an exclusive item, the Batwing, in order to finally escape the level the game forces you to consume it. What does it do? Well, it gives you a little affliction, you know, a little virus. Disney World Ultimate Theme Park is a game from a bygone era of Roblox. The platform was blooming with things such as roller coasters, theme parks, role-playing games that weren't freaky, and copyright infringement. The game fulfills two of those niches, but somehow it's still alive and kicking with 80 concurrent players at the time of writing this video. This leads into the dead internet theory, since there's another game created in 2009 that hasn't been updated in like 11 years and still has 30 concurrent players, and half of them are just AFK at the spawn. Tangent aside, this game was made in 2008, so everything is dated, but you can still tell that the game took a ton of effort to put together. It's a nice, quaint little theme park to enjoy your time in, but below the park lies a dreadful secret. A secret partially based off of reality. Discovery Island was a Breadian property purchased by Disney in 1965 during the company's strategic land acquisitions leading to the construction of Disney Worlds. While the island lay dormant for decades, it finally opened its own attraction in 1974, known as Treasure Island, later renamed to Discovery Island after being recognized as a zoological attraction, for children to discover things about animals, of course. Keep in mind, this was from an era where you couldn't just go on Instagram Reels to find out what animals are up to. 1989, Disney was accused of and charged for 16 counts of animal cruelty. Discovery Island was closed in 1999 with no public reasoning given by Disney. The animals were then relocated to the Magic Kingdom, and for decades the island lay completely abandoned, with the buildings and attractions left to wither in the great nature of Florida. Hurricanes. Interestingly, Discovery Island was directly adjacent to Disney's River Country, which was advertised as the equivalent of going to the beach, except instead of salt water, it was fresh lake water. This was the first instance on the internet where I heard of the term brain-eating amoeba. I know you TikTok kids are surely familiar with the concept, and I guess anybody can really put two and two together on what it does. The park closed in 2001. Along with Discovery Island, these parks were the only two attractions to be permanently closed. And abandoned by Disney. Abandoned by Disney was a creepypasta, aka a scary internet story, written in 2013. Creepypastas were known for, particularly nowadays, being short, shitty horror stories that are more or less known to freak the viewer out when they're reading it at 3 in the morning. They often suffer from poor writing or just an immature author. Nonetheless, creepypastas remain iconic and memorable for good reasons, except for Jeff the Killer. Abandoned by Disney told a story of a man who snuck onto Discovery/Treasure Island in hopes of some cheeky urban exploration. The words abandoned by Disney are painted on the walls. Then he goes to the back room and sees a photo-negative Mickey mascot who says, "Wanna see my head come off?" And he pulls his head off and blood comes out as if he decapitated himself. Then the POV narrator looks up at the ceiling to see the words, "Abandoned by God." The story was effective for the time because while the writing was quite simplistic, the start of the story was quite effective. The words abandoned by Disney stuck with me for my entire childhood. Creepypastas often rely on real-world concepts to instill terror into the reader, making it seem like they could be the next victim. The internet has led to a spread of information, and in the early 2010s there was a growing cynical outlook towards the Disney company, which this story really leans on in a nice way. With that being said, the ending is immature as fuck. I quite literally forgot all about it. The words abandoned by Disney and the mascot head being bloody are the things that stuck with me. Up until just now, as I am writing the script for this video, I had no idea that there was abandoned by God written everywhere, and my brain did the best it could to forget about that stupid photo-negative Mickey, wanna see my head come off bullshit. And now I remember it again and I want my head to come off. The Walt Disney head theory is an urban legend claiming that Walt Disney was so rich then when he died in 1966, I think, he had his head cryogenically frozen and placed underneath the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. This theory has been disproven by testimony from his family as well as his daughter in 1972, saying that he probably didn't even know about cryonics. I have no idea when this theory started, but an extension of this legend states that the movie Frozen was created in 2013 in order to cover up the theory when people googled the words Walt Disney Frozen. And as crazy and stupid as this theory is, I hope his head is frozen. Maybe he can whip this company back into shape. I completely derailed this video and forgot what I was writing about. In the Frozen ride in the Roblox game, remember, you can clip through a wall in the back rooms where the entrance to an abandoned roller coaster lies. You read a note that specifies that this roller coaster was a part of a secret government project, basically was used as a form of execution. Then you take an elevator up, landing you on the abandoned Discovery Island, where a guard catches you for trespassing and shoots you 7 times in the back. One thing I wanted to point out, all of the creepypastas now have AI generated covers, and they look really weird. Why is the AI suggestion box calling me a slut? I almost ended the video after the Treasure Island bit, but I'm not going to have any excuse to talk about this game. Fluttershy's lovely home was probably one of the scariest games on Roblox in 2014. Like, this game was literally the OG Jim's computer. And I'm not saying that to make you soy jack and react, because if I was going to overplay media in a sensationalist way, I would have put it in the thumbnail saying, the scariest Roblox game ever, in big red letters, and it wouldn't be at the end of the video where the majority of people have already clicked off. Anyways, Fluttershy's lovely home was polarizing for the Roblox community back in 2014 because it plays itself completely straight for so long. You enter Fluttershy's home and she's all nice and happy and nicely animated, and then the game goes on for so long where she just shows you around her house and you do fun things together. Now yes, I'm just gonna say this right now, this is a bait and switch game, Fluttershy murders you, but you have to consider a few things. 1. Roblox was exponentially smaller back then. There was basically no YouTube community and no TikTok to show you a video where you say,
"Welcome to your Roblox horror monster guide. Let's grab the horn with Fluttershy."
No, people didn't get their game recommendations from TikTok or YouTube, they just got it from searching for Roblox normally. My Little Pony had lots of fans in 2014. When you click on the game, it has nothing to do with horror. There's nothing indicative of anything scary. And with the previous things in mind, the game plays itself straight for so long that anybody who wasn't a little My Little Pony fan, aka someone just unironically enjoying this boring game, aka a child, okay, basically anybody that wasn't interested in it was clicking off the game in 5 minutes or less, leaving only the most unironic My Little Pony enjoyers. Little girls, or bronies I guess? Just like Jim's computer, this game had no age rating, except where Jim's computer has no age rating as a conscious choice, this game came from an era where age ratings weren't a thing yet. Yeah, people really seem to overlook the fact that the game about a guy committing a door's entity was, for the longest time, an unrated game that any little kid can play. With that being said, you have a really nice day with Fluttershy and you're about to leave when she asks you to check the basement because she dropped her hairpin. Then she locks the door behind you, saying that you can't leave and she wants to stay with you forever. So you know this game is for girls because guys don't know what a hairpin is. What I just noticed, and literally never picked up on until now, is that Fluttershy here has gouged out eyeballs and she's wearing a wheel on her neck, like the suitors from Amnesia Justine. That's crazy. Guys, I'm so glad I understood that niche reference. I highly doubt any of these clueless little girls playing this game would have any idea of such violent imagery. So Fluttershy knocks you out instead of killing you with the sword. You wake up in a locked room where she says that she can't let you leave because you know too much about her. Then she dismembers you with a chainsaw. Alright, that was my game on some bait and switch Roblox horror games. If you want to check these games out, they're in the video's description. And if you're down there, why don't you subscribe, join my Discord, and follow me on X? And of course, check out my channel because I'm sure you'll find videos you like there.